because that's what was announced publicly and in the Federal Register, but we can make use of that time, absolutely. So I actually had a break scheduled, but that was going to be at 2:40. It is 1:40. How are you guys feeling? Do you want to launch into Gary's presentation?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. Gary Torres is our field manager here for the Monticello field office, and he is going to basically give you an overview of the proclamations, the charter. It's a chance to ask about your roles and responsibilities as a group. Gary, turn it over to you.
Thank you. My name's Gary Torres. I'm the field manager here in Monticello for BLM. I grew up in Monticello. These areas are near and dear to me for sure. I get a little emotional just thinking about some of them, but I mean, I spent one summer building fence up by Bears Ears. My dad used to build fences as a contractor for the Forest Service and BLM, and we camped up there for a month. And I've worked for Heidi Red down on the ranch when I was 15 and 16, bucking hay, which motivated me to go to college. I decided that was a lot better than that bucking hay. That was. I want to thank you first, the MAC members. I can't say enough. And we've all echoed that thought that you're taking time out of your life. I guess I wanted to say that I think we're asking you to do hard things, and I appreciate that. And the hard things are that we're bringing 15 diverse publics together that are very passionate, knowledgeable, engaged in this landscape. And we're asking you to look at the issues and the concerns in this landscape and help us make good decisions. And our commitment and our obligation is really that we are here to listen. Ed is here, and Lance, and Forest Service, the agency people, we're here to listen. We are going to give you a little bit of info up front just to prime the pump a little bit, but then we want to hear your dialogue, we want to hear your discussion, because I think it helps us make better decisions eventually. You each have an expertise, but I think the common denominator that I hear every time as I talk is that the love for the land, the love for this landscape. And so I think that we have things in common. We have a lot of things that are probably that we're going to have some candid conversations about. So that's good. I wrote this because I wanted to get the wording right on here, but I want to just read this. It says, hopefully you can develop a consensus regarding management options and alternatives for this new monument. I believe that your voice is strongest when you speak with one voice. Of course, we value all opinions and thoughts regarding your work here today, but when a group of diverse people can wrestle with complex issues and develop an articulated consensus, that message can be clear and strong and can affect change. If you reach consensus on some of these complex issues, I know that the agencies have a huge respect for that because they are complicated. We've had many public meetings and opportunities for the public to be involved in, and that's good and as it should be. But so let's jump into the, what does the MAC do and a little of the charter. We've said this, it's a citizens group established to provide information to the federal agencies. You all represent a variety of interests and that part, to collaboratively develop, easy for you to say, develop consensus when driven by recommendations. So I think that that's an important component of that. The committee will provide information and advice. The decision maker is still going to be the agency. It's still going to be Lance Porter's. But that's, our obligation is to make an informed decision. And so this is a critical step to that. When we develop the management plans, we've drafted it up, right? We have a DEIS out there, a draft environmental impact statement. So we laid out 4 alternatives of of ways that we might solve some of the issues and balance some of the uses. You know, input from the Monument Advisory Committee, it's a little different than stakeholder groups or individual members of the public. First, the Monument Advisory Committee was put in the proclamation. The president and the secretary chartered you to do certain things. So you have a voice that we are obligated and committed to listen to. I think that's a great deal of responsibility that falls on you to find those things. Provide where applicable recommendations, and as I said, and we talked about, if you can come up with consensus on a few things, those are going to be powerful. You know, keep in mind that it's not a complete. We have sideboards, right? We have policies, we have procedures. There's a lot of things that limit some of the things that we do. It's not completely just, well, let's all just get together and be completely creative. There are sideboards to the whole thing. The MAC duties. Okay, we switched out. That's fine. Okay. And most of you are really familiar with the proclamations. You all probably have. Okay, duties. Let's jump back. Provide the information regarding the development of the monument management plan. So we have a draft, right? It's been out to the public. The public has had numerous opportunities to respond and make comment on it. And as we're getting towards the finish line, we need input from the MAC. The MAC needs to be able to weigh in and give us recommendations. Where applicable, provide recommendations on implementation of the, I was talking about some of the other sideboards. There are secretarial orders out there and other regulatory framework. Yes, Bruce.
Gary, I'm just wondering, you've covered very well what has happened prior to this formation of this advisory committee. So when the BLM or the Forest Service does planning efforts, they usually include groups of people called cooperating agencies that help develop some of those things. Tell us the difference between the advisory committee's recommendations versus your cooperating agency's recommendations, or is there any difference?
Wow, okay. I may be looking to Lance and Ed to help me out. Real simple.
You know, if you don't want to cover that right now, if that's taking you off track too much, but it was just a thought I had as you were going through.
There are differences. The MAC, as I said, is part of the proclamation. Cooperating agencies come to us through other authorities. They are commonly used, and we engage with cooperating agencies. The MAC has special status in a sense because it was put in the proclamation. But they all are available to, again, the goal of the agency in a sense is to make an informed decision, make a good decision. And that's by getting input from the people that are knowledgeable and effective.
Well, I know that the county, the state, a number of people have cooperating agency status when you do those things, and I'm sure the state with Gordon and the governor have commented. I know the county has commented. You know, I don't know how many other groups have that status have already commented, but this group hasn't really chewed up and digested what you've got so far, and certainly their comments will be the result of what we're doing here. Do you see the comments of this having equal weight to the cooperating agencies, or does that not even play into it?
I don't know if I would say equal weight. I would say that we're going to consider and use all of the information. The cooperating agencies often are working with side by side as we're going through this. Okay. The MAC hasn't met until this point, which is, you know, we have a draft assembled. So you're getting the benefit of having heard a lot of other dialogue and input, so hopefully you will be able to react and provide information to that. Lance, any other thoughts on that, or Ed?
You know, I think you're on the right track, and you actually have a slide a little bit later on
Okay.
where we talk about each of these roles. And maybe as we get to that point,
Yep.
we can address that a little bit more, and I think it might make it a little clearer as well.
Go ahead to the next slide.